Dear learners, greetings. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic in statistics, that is the measures of variability. So, what is the measure of variability? Let me start with a story. So, there is one teacher who has 20 students and they want to cross a river and the river is 4 feet deep. Let me repeat. There is one teacher, he has 20 students. Teacher along with the student wants to cross the river which is 4 feet deep, and the average height of the group, that is the 20 students including the teacher, is 5 feet. So, do you think that every student, every person in that group will cross the river? You think over it, and the moment you will think over it, you will say your answer as no. Why? Because though the river is only 4 feet deep and the average height of the group is 5 feet, but there might be one person or two persons in the group whose height might be less than the 4 feet. So, in that situation, it might be happening that that particular individual might be drowned. So, this shows the variability in a group. So, variability means what? The spread of the scores in a group. So, which one is the lowest score, which one is the highest score? You are going to calculate the mean and you will see how average score differs from the mean. That will tell you certain kind of crude approximation of the variability in that group. So, let me first give some definitions, theoretical definitions of variability, and then we will say how many types of variability are there and how we are going to measure it. So, you see the slide. The first definition tells variability expressed quantitatively the extent to which the scores in a distribution is scattered around or clustered together. I mean certain kind of spread of the scores from the lower one to the higher one. If you come to the second definition, it tells variability is a quantitative expression of how far the values in a set of data are spread or scattered from the average. So, whenever we talk about variability, we measure it in terms of the average, in terms of the mean or median or mode, whatever is the case, and accordingly we say how much is scattered are the data in that particular data set. If you come to the third definition, the measurement of the scatteredness of the mass of figures in a series about an average is known as the variability. And last definition says measures of variability are statistical tools that describe the extent to which the members of a group differ from one another. So, by going through these definitions, let me give some examples. So, take the first example. There are some values written in the data set. You see 46, 48, 49, 50, 50, 51, 51, 52 and 53. So, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 values. So, if you are going to calculate the mean, you will find that mean has come out to be 50. But in this particular group, if you see, the lowest score is this one, that is 46, lowest score. Whereas the highest score is which one? If you see, it is 53, highest, and the mean is 50. Consider the next situation. The scores have been given as 20, 30, 40, 45, 48, 52, 55, 60, 70 and 80. And here again the mean has come out to be 50. So, in the first case mean is 50, in the second case again mean is 50, but there is a difference. In the first case, the difference between highest score and lowest score was very less. Lowest one was 46 and highest one was 53. Whereas in the second case, the lowest score is 20 and the highest score is 80. So this one, this one, this one, lowest, this one, this one, this one, highest. So, 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 so lowest score 20 and the highest score 80. This shows that the second group has more variability in comparison to the first group. In first group, variability was less, whereas in the second group, variability is more. Though in both the cases, mean comes out to be same, that is 50. You can understand it through this particular graph. If you see, there are three distributions which have been shown in three different type of inks. So, you see the first one, lowest variability, lowest variability. And why I am saying? Why I am saying? Because if you see this data I have taken from some scholastic achievement test score, and why I am saying that the first one the first group has the lowest variability, because if you see the score varies from almost 700 to 1300. Whereas if you see the second group score varies from 600 to 1400. So, it is more spread in comparison to the first one. Whereas the third one, again if you see, score varies from 500 to 1500. So, this one has the highest variability. So, by this distribution, you can understand the importance of variability. So, more variability means more diverse is your group. Less variability means less diverse is your group. So, if there is a homogeneity in the group, so you will find variability is least. If there is heterogeneity in the group, you will find that variability is more. For example, let me take a case of Indian Institute of Management students. So, undergraduate students who have passed out, postgraduate students who have passed out MBA like that from IIM. So, since they have passed a very tough test, and definitely they have been trained at one of the best, one of the finest institution in the country. So, if you will see, by and large they will be homogeneous. If you will conduct any test, you will find that almost their scores are similar. I mean, very less variability is there. But the same MBA students, if you take from other institute, you will find that they vary. Some of them will be scoring very poor, some of them will score good, I mean something like that. So, by that way they will be there will be more variability in the second group in comparison to the first group. Now, let me explain what are the characteristics of this variability. So, first characteristic, variability shows the degree of uniformity among the data that I have just explained. So, less variability, more uniform is the group, more homogeneous is the group. More variability, more heterogeneity is there, and less uniformity is there. It helps in comparison of two or more data sets, as in the previous example we have taken that the mean of the two data sets was found to be same, that is 50. But if you see mean was same, but you see first group was less variability was reported in the first group, whereas in the second group more variability was reported. So, by that way you can comparison two data sets or two group of data. Then it helps in interpretation of mean, median and mode more effectively. I mean on the basis of the variability we can have certain kind of assessment of mean, median and mode. Then the value of variability measures can never be negative, I mean always it will be positive, and it tells ki how diverse is the group. Measures like range and standard deviation, which we are going to discuss later on, are influenced by outliers. I mean, if in the data outliers will be there, so definitely those outliers will influence the variability. Then the numerical value of the measure of variability is represented in the same unit of measurement as the original data. And finally, it plays a vital role in reliability testing, correlation and hypothesis testing, which will be covered later on, and you will be told how to test the hypothesis and how to calculate the correlation and what is reliability testing and all those things. So, you see somehow variability influences these, that is reliability testing, correlation and hypothesis testing. Now, there are four ways of measuring variability by and large, and these four have been mentioned on this side. First one is the range. Second one is known as average deviation or mean deviation. Third one is known as standard deviation, and fourth one is known as quartile deviation. So, by and large we have these four measures of variability. So, their way of calculation is different. How we calculate that might differ, but all of them tell the same thing, that how diverse is the group, whether there is homogeneity or heterogeneity in the group, or how spread is the data set. It is told by all the four. So, at this juncture of time, let us discuss about the first measure of variability, that is the range. So, what is range? The range is the simplest measure of variability and is defined as follows: interval between the highest and lowest score of the set. So, how the range is calculated? You see the data, you have the data, you see the data, you arrange that data in ascending order, and after arranging the data in ascending order, you see which one is the lowest score and which one is the highest score. So, you subtract the lower score from the highest score and you will get the range, and this range will tell you certain kind of variability in that group. So, how you are going to do it? Let us take example and see. So, this is a data set. You see how many numbers are there? 6 numbers are there. So, the lowest one, as you can see in the screen, 34, then 45, then 51, then 54, then 56 and finally 57. So, see which one is the lowest score and see which one is the highest score. So, the lowest score in this data is 34, lowest score. And which score is the highest score? Definitely it is 57. So, it is the highest score. Now, how to calculate range R? So, R is equal to highest score minus lowest score. So, highest score here is 57 minus lowest score you have identified as 34. So, if you subtract 7 minus 7 minus 4, that is 3, and 5 minus 3, 2. So, finally, you have got 23. So, this 23 is the measure of variability. This 23 is the range that shows how spread is your data, and through this you can tell that your data is quite spread. If its value comes to be less, like 4 or 5 or 8 or 10, it means there is less variability in the group. That is, the group is more homogeneous, but if its value is like 23, 25, 50 or more than that, so by that way you can say that that group is more homogeneous, the spread of data is more in that particular situation. So, in a nutshell, how you calculate range, how you find the range, which is a measure of variability, simply by arranging the data in ascending order and by locating which one is the lowest score and which one is the highest score, and by subtracting the lowest score from the highest score. Let us take the second example, things might be more clear. So, second example, numbers are written, numbers are more here. So, count how many numbers are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13. So, 13 numbers are there. Now, you have to calculate range and in order to calculate the range, you have to subtract the lowest score from the highest score. So for that, you have to locate which score is the lowest score. Now see the data and see which one is the lowest score, and the moment you will see the data, you will find that 53 is the lowest score. 53 is the lowest score. Then you see, you move ahead in the group, you will find 67, 55, and then again 68, 55, 81, 65, 55, 56, 55, 89, 55, 55. So by going through the data, you will find that 89 is the highest score. So in this data set, 53 is the lowest score and 89 is the highest score. So you may locate it from this point, or even for the sake of clarity, you may arrange the data in ascending order also. How? Let's do it. As I have pointed out, 53 is the lowest score. Then after 53, it is 55. So 55, so many times, how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So 6 times you write 55 and 55. So this number is covered, this number is covered, this number 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 covered. Now after 55, see which one is the, which score is the highest score? It is 56. After 56, so after 56, if you go through, you will find it is 65. So write 65. Then after 65, it is 67. So you write 67. After 67, it is 68. So you write 68. And then it is 81. So you write 81 and finally 89. So here you see 53 is the lowest score, 89 is the highest score, and in order to get the range, what you will get? You will subtract 53 from 89. So finally it will come to be 36. So finally the range that you have calculated is 36, and this range shows that this group is quite heterogeneous group. Variability is more in this group. Spread of the data is more in this group. Why? Because the lowest score is 53, whereas the highest score is 89. In comparison to the first example, where lowest score was 34 and the highest score was 57. So spread was less in the first group and spread was more in the second group. Let's proceed and do some more problems. So two problems have been there on the slide. If you see, data has been written. So it is 23, 25, 13, 14, 85, 13, 25, 1, 23, 15, 23, 15 and 9. Now you want to calculate the range, and formula is same, highest score minus lowest score. So first you have to locate which score is the lowest score. So if you go through the data, you will find that 1 is the lowest score. And if you see the data minutely, I think you will locate that 90 is the highest score. So in this particular data set, lowest score is 1 and the highest score is 90. So in order to calculate range, what you will do? You will subtract lowest score from the highest score, that is 1 from 90. So the score will be 90 minus 1, so that is 89. And 89 is a huge value, is a big value, and this 89 shows that this particular data has lot of variability, and it is very much evident if you see the data that lowest score is 1 and the highest score is 90. Let's come to the second example. Again, your job is to find out the range, and in order to find out the range, what you will do, you will subtract lowest score from the highest score, and for that you have to locate first the lowest score and then the highest score. So, see the data: 76, 43, 54, 76, 78, 43, 77, 34, 13, 76, 75, 35, 95, 96, 37, 43 and 94. So, by going through this data, you will find that 13 is the lowest score, whereas if you see the highest data, so which one is the highest one? I think it is 96. So, check it once more: 76, 43, 54, 76, 78, 43, 77, 34, 13, 76, 75, 35, 95, 96, 37, 43 and 94. So, by going through this data, you have located 13 as the lowest number, whereas highest number is 96. You wanted to calculate range. So, range will be 96 minus 13. So, if you will calculate, you will find it has come out to be 83. And again, 83 is such a number which is a huge number and shows that there is a lot of variability in that particular group. That is, that particular group is quite heterogeneous. So, if you see the values of the range which you have got on these two examples, they are quite huge, 89 and 83 in comparison to the previous one where the values were less. So, in a nutshell, the value of the range tells you how diverse is your group, how much heterogeneity in the group is there, and it is a measure of variability. Now, the question arises, what are the advantages of this range? So, what are the advantages? It's the simplest way to calculate variability. The moment I will tell you about the other measures of variability like mean deviation or average deviation, quartile deviation and standard deviation, then you will find that plenty of calculation is there. In comparison to that, range is the simplest one, it is the easiest one, very easily we can find out the measure of variability simply by subtracting the lowest score from the highest score. So, it is very easy to calculate. It helps to make a rough comparison of two or more groups for variability. Suppose we have two groups and we want to know which group is more heterogeneous. So, simply by calculating the range, I mean we will see the two different data sets, we will locate the lowest and highest score in both the groups and finally we will calculate the range, and by seeing the range immediately we will be able to compare both the groups on the on this measure of variability, that is range. So, by simply seeing the range we can compare one group from the other group. This is second advantage of this range. Then it is a very quick overview of data spread. Initially I explained that what is variability, basically it is certain kind of data spread. So, definitely very quickly, I mean how data is spread you can know. Then it identifies extreme values. Again, what's the meaning of extreme values? Since the very basic calculation of range depends on the lowest and highest score. So, immediately, I mean these two scores will be extreme scores, that is lowest score and highest score. So, by that way you can locate the extreme score. This is the fourth advantage of range. If you see, it is very useful for small data sets. I mean, if there are suppose 9 students or 10 students or 15 students or 20 students, I mean data is small. So, in that situation finding out the range is very easy and very useful, very quickly you can do. If the data is more, I mean for example, you have taken the example of 100 students or something like that. So, more numbers it might be a little bit difficult to locate the lowest and highest score, but so far as a small number of data set is concerned, range is supposed to be very useful in order to find out the variability of the group. Then comes, what are the disadvantages? So, uh, every statistics and every tool of statistics definitely is blessed with its own merits and demerits, with its own advantages and disadvantages. So, range is also not free from disadvantages. You see, uh, the biggest disadvantage is highest sensitivity to outliers. And what are the outliers? Already I have spoken. Outliers are those numbers which are very much different from the main data set. For example, suppose there are, I am writing 5 numbers: 9, 10, 13, 15 and 99. Now see, in this particular data set, 9, 10, 13, 15 almost similar values, or you can say the difference is very less. But so far as 99 is concerned, it's quite different from the previous 4 values. So you can say it is an outlier. Outlier. So outliers are certain kind of extreme values. So, since range is calculated on the basis of the lowest and highest scores, so if outliers will be there, that is very extremely low value will be there or extremely high value will be there. So, in that situation, definitely range will be highly influenced. It is highly sensitive if there will be outliers in the data, and this is one of the biggest disadvantages of this measure of variability, that is range. Then comes, it ignores the distribution of intermediate values. It's more, it gives more importance to lowest value and highest value than the intermediate value or the average value. This is the second important disadvantage of this range. Then it is unreliable for large data sets. If numbers are more, then in that situation, its reliability becomes very poor. And in those situations, there are some other measures of variability like quartile deviation or standard deviation. So we take into account of those things. In that situation, when we have large data set, we prefer to use quartile deviation, or we used to prefer standard deviation in comparison to range, because they are more reliable in comparison to that. Then it is not based on all observations. This is one of the important shortcomings, or this is one of the most important disadvantages of range, that it is not based on all observations, simply meaning it is more concerned with the lowest score and the highest score, and ignores rest of the score. So instead of taking into account all the scores, all the observations, it's more concerned with the lowest score and highest score. This is the fourth disadvantage of this range. Then it is not suitable for statistical inferences. So there are so many inferences that we draw from the data, and this is the beauty of statistics, that by collecting a data on a small sample, we generalize that on a big sample, on a big population, you say. So you collect the data on you say a sample of 100 or 200 or 300 or 400 or 500, and you generalize the result on a big population. So this is one of the beauties of statistics. But so far as inferences are concerned, sometimes range is not found suitable for taking the inferences. In that situation, the other measures of variability like quartile and standard deviation are more better in comparison to the range. And the last shortcoming is uh, uh, it is indeterminate for open-ended distribution. Earlier also I have discussed what is open-ended distribution. So this is the last disadvantage of range, that it is not suitable to the open-ended distribution. But despite of all these shortcomings, definitely range is the most simple and quickest way to calculate the measure of variability. So I have recommended 2 books that you can see on the slide. These two books are very good. So if you want to know further more about measures of variability, and particularly about the range, and particularly about the advantages and disadvantages of the range, and particularly about how to calculate the range, or you want to do some more problems based on range, so go through these books. These two books are very good. So thank you very much for listening to me. For today it's enough. I will come with some other topic on next day. Thank you very much for listening to me.